Hello guys, welcome to the live session of UIT International Group. Uh, Let me introduce myself to you. Myself Ashwin. I'm basically a mechanical engineer working in Dubai as a MEP engineer. Uh, I have been dealing with a lot of projects with different clients who have been collaborating with us with various projects here in Dubai. Um, in today's live session, we'll be discussing about Revit, its features and the applications of Revit in the MEP industry. So it will be a brief session today. I just want you guys to have a quick idea regarding the features in Revit, and we'll be looking into the applications in the Revit software, right? I know most of you guys are, even all of us are going during a hard time now. During this time, we want you guys to provide or share knowledge uh, so that you can use your time, which you're having now. So, without any further ado, let's start with the session. So, first we'll see why do we need to use Revit here for, or what is the purpose of using a Revit software. So let's start with that topic and then we'll be moving on to the other topics of the session, right? So Revit MEP as a software is a BIM enabled software. When we say Revit MEP is a part of Revit software, and Revit as a software is being used by engineers, architects, structural engineers, and all the other disciplines of constructional people. It can be used to create building and its components in 3D, to annotate or to provide detailed drawings in two-dimensional, and even to create or get the schedules and even to do some calculations. We can use the Revit software, right? Now, most of the people, when they start with the Revit software, they are going to ask this question here. As you can see, why should we consider using Revit software? So what is the use of it? Why do we need to use the Revit software for? Why don't we use AutoCAD, which is already a software which is being used in a lot of industries now? So that is the first question we need to answer here, right? We have a lot of corporate trainings coming here on, and most of the people ask this question right here. So let's see what that is for. So basically, there are many benefits of using Revit MEP, uh, and not all of them are directly related to BIM. Okay, uh, even if your client or even your project partner is not connected to BIM, you can use Revit. It doesn't mean that Revit can be only used for projects which are implemented using BIM. It can actually help you increase your efficiency and time saved during the project. Okay, so let's start with what you can do using the Revit software. You can do or create integrated design using the Revit software. So what is integrated design? We'll be discussing that. Basically, in a single design, you can have all your elements or all your drawings together in one single file. Now, we can do analysis. When we say analysis in the MEP part, we can actually do calculations. We can do analytical models here. We can do the energy analysis. We have a lot of other sizing options like duct sizing and pipe sizing available in the Revit software. We can create or we can convert our 3D files into 2D drawings or detailed drawings, which can be helpful for the construction people. And for that, we need to document the file. So directly from Revit, we can actually convert those models we created into the 2D files. And last but not the least, we have the fabrication, which is an essential part of the MEP. If you are going to do the fabrication in, let's say, in your factory, or if you want to create the fabrication drawings, we can use the help of Revit to create such drawings. So let's see in detail what each of this means. When we say integrated design, as you can see here, it helps us to have a design process using Revit. And also it is a single model which we are using to enhance our communication of what we are going to intend or what we are going to do in the design, and before we can do it before the even the construction begins in our project. Okay, so that is called the integrated design part. Now the next part we are going to discuss will be the analysis. I already told you we can do different types of calculations, as well as we can do the energy analysis using the Revit software. So we can, as you can see here, we can create different simulations as well. Again, the energy simulations here, and we can even do energy driven calculations using Revit software. The documentation part, we can convert or we can create detailed drawings directly from the 3D model, as you can see, into 2D files, which later on you can even convert to AutoCAD files. So some people still find it easy for detailing in AutoCAD. So if those guys want to do it like that, we can easily convert the Revit model into AutoCAD files. Okay. And the last one here, the fabrication part, which means you can convert or create fabrication drawings directly from Revit using the fabrication option, which is available in the Revit, or we can actually convert our files into the software called CAD MEP and create the fabrication drawings. So these are the main uh, features of Revit: integrated design, the analysis, we can do the fabrication, and we can also do the documentation in Revit. Now you may think that, okay, we have 4 features, is that it? No, it's not that all. We have more features in Revit. When we say about Revit, it's not just 4 features here. The first thing we are going to discuss today will be how to model, how to use Revit to easily model ducts, pipes along with the fittings. So let's see a quick example of it. So I'm going to open the Revit software here. As you can see, I've already opened a sample project here. Let's just go to one of the floor plans here. So I'm going for the HVAC floor plan. And let's just create a duct routing. Okay. As you can see, I already have created some duct routings here. Let's say quickly I want to create one routing over here. So using the duct option here, I can start clicking on this option, start clicking on this duct here. As you can see, when I create the duct here, automatically the fittings are coming along with it. So I don't need to provide the fittings separately in Revit. When I create the duct, or let's say even the pipe or cable trays or any other tool in the MEP discipline here, you will be getting the fittings automatically. And even when I click on the fittings here, you have the option to change it to any other type of fitting, as you can see. So the changes which you do in Revit, it's very quick. You don't need to spend a lot of time to make changes in Revit. Okay, and to create the routings and all, as you've seen already, it takes very less time. Okay, now let's talk about the next feature. Convert indicative schemes into detailed design. As we already discussed before, we can create detailed drawings using Revit. Let's see a quick example of it. As you can see here in the Revit software here, I already created some sheets, and sorry guys, just one technical issue, 1 second. I think I'll start from the beginning again. I think there are some issues with the screen of the Revit. Uh, Now, what I was discussing what about the features of Revit. The first one being the automatic creation or easy creation of duct, pipes, and uh, other disciplines of MEP, and along with the fittings, right? So let's see what that means. I'm going to click on duct here, and let me create a duct routing here. Okay. So about the duct routing, when you click on the duct option here, you can easily start creating your duct routing by just using a mouse, and you will find that the fittings are coming automatically when you create the duct routing. You will find the fittings, I didn't create it separately. When I routed the duct, automatically the fittings came along with it. And if I click on the fitting here, in case if you want to change your fitting to a different fitting here, you can click on the properties and you will be able to go with a different type of fitting. Let's say you want an elbow fitting here. As you can see, now instead of a metered elbow here, I have converted into a radius elbow, and you can see it was very quick here. I didn't need to like spend a lot of time changing the fitting, while in other softwares, as you know, it will take more time to change from one fitting to another one. So based on the size that you provide, the Revit is automatically placing a new fitting for you. Okay. Now let's talk about the next point. We can convert our drawings into detailed design drawings. We can convert our models into 2D drawings basically. And to do that, it's pretty much easy in Revit. So let's open the Revit software. As you can see in my project browser over here, I've already created some sheets, as you can see. And when I open the sheets here, one of the sheets, you can see I've already created sections and different types of call-out views here, and even you can see there is 3D view here with tags or with annotations. So that is one good advantage of using Revit. You don't need to create 2D drawings separately in your AutoCAD software. Whatever you create in Revit can be easily converted to 2D drawings, and when you convert to AutoCAD, it comes along with the layers actually. So we'll be discussing that. So as you can see, this is a sheet which I've created in Revit with some detail here. Okay, so this is one feature of Revit. You can easily convert your drawings into detailed design drawings. Now, you might think that what about the fittings, or what about the equipments? Let's say you want a particular family, or you want a particular fitting to be placed in your model. Let me tell you, most of the fittings are already available in the library which Autodesk provides when you download Revit in your system or in your PC. Let's see a quick example of that. Let's say I'm clicking on a mechanical equipment here. As you can see here, I have various different types of mechanical equipments, right? Let's say I don't want one from here. I want to have a separate or a different family. So what we can do is we can easily go for the load family option here, and from the default folder which is available when you download your Revit software, or even you can actually download libraries from your Autodesk website. So let me go for libraries. You can see we have some different uh, folders here based on the units. So let me go for one folder here, and let me load one mechanical equipment. As you can see, I have a FCU here, so let me load that one. And you can see now I have a different family placed in my project. Okay, and when I click on it, you can see it comes along with the connectors as well. Similarly, not only just a mechanical equipment, even the fittings, if you try to place it. For example, now the fittings that we have, as you can see, we have different types of fittings. Let's say I want to have a different type of fitting. For example, from this particular routing here, I want to place a Y fitting here. I think you know what is a Y fitting. So if you want to place a Y fitting, I'll be going for a duct fitting, loading the family for that. Let me go for the default folder location again, and going for the duct fittings here, you will find there is lots of different types of Y fittings that are available in the library. Okay, so let me load one here, and as you can see, when I place the fitting over here, it automatically snaps to your duct here, and you can see now you have a fitting over here, right? And as you can see, it is parametric families here, so in case if you want to change the dimension of the fitting that you placed, it can be easily changed over here. Okay, okay, so this is what we mean by saying that we can actually load a different types of intelligent components or families into the project from the default library. Okay, we can provide delivery standards across the team which are working on a single project, and that is basically done if you have a BEP or beam execution plan to be executed for. You can based on that, or based on a standard of your company, you can follow that across your team. So that can also be promoted using Revit MEP. Now, the next point, as you can see, it's a very important part in Revit. Most of the guys who are working AutoCAD find it very difficult to take the quantity out from the project or from the drawing that you created. We have different options in AutoCAD, but you all know how much accurate it is going to be. But in Revit, the quantification has been made really easy. And let's see a quick example of that. As you can see here, this is the project which I have now. Let's say I want to take the quantity of the diffusers or the air terminals which I have in the model right now. All I have to do is just one single click by going for analyze and clicking on the schedule quantity option, I can easily select the category for which I want to get the schedule for or quantity for. I can add the columns which I want to see in my quantity takeoff. So let's say I want to see the family name, the cost, even let's say the system classification as well, right? And the level, so that I can know in each level how much diffusers have been placed. And when I click OK, the Revit automatically generates a quantity takeoff for you. Since I haven't given the cost here, you can see the cost is not available. But let's say I'm giving the cost here for the 450 by 200. Let's say I'm giving the cost of 60. Let's say it's dirhams, or just imagine a default unit here. And let's say I'm giving 70 over here. So you can see for the same type of grills or diffusers, they are providing the same cost here. So I can go on giving the cost, and more, what you want more is that you can actually filter, sort, even format your takeoff of, or your report that you generated from the Revit. Let's say I want to filter and I want to see only the elements or components which I placed in level 2, right? So let me click OK, and now you can see there is only the elements in level 2, but it's all mixed up. Again, I have the option to sort it, and I can sort it based on family and type with the header. Let's put a blank line in between, and you can see now it is categorized based on the level 2, and I can see the family, which is the exhaust grill here, the return diffusers, supply diffusers, and all that. So I've given two conditions here. I've given a filter as well as the sorting and grouping here. So I can do more here, like I can even say that I don't want to see each item here. I just want to see one item like this. And even I can actually take off the total quantity by clicking on here. I can get the count here. As you can see, it's 104 in total for level 2, the total number of diffusers. And even I can get the total quantity for each family type separately. And let me add the cost as well. So as you can see here, now I have the schedule with my family types here, and the total number of families of each type is given below. As you can see, 4 exhaust grills, 28 return diffusers, supply diffusers, and all that. And for whichever items I've given the cost, I can also see the cost along with it. Since I haven't given the cost for here, it's not available. But if you have given details inside your project, and based on that, we'll be getting the takeoff from Revit. But let me tell you, if you are planning to take the quantity takeoff from Revit, make sure you have a proper drawing or a detailed drawing in Revit. Okay. You can also do the clash detection using Revit, but most of the people they use Navisworks for doing that. The reason behind that is in Revit, mostly when you do the clash detection, it shows only the hot clashes. And when I say hot clashes, it means that they only show the clashes which are actually coinciding or touching with each other. Let's say a duct is passing through a cable tray, that will be detected in Revit. At the same time, if we have a small tolerance in between the duct and the cable tray, let's say even a 0.001 mm, they won't be showing that as a clash. While in Navisworks, we have the option to go for more advanced options in coordination, like we can say how much tolerance we should be giving, and all those conditions can be given in Navisworks. So what we can do is that from the model that you create in Revit, we can convert the model into Navisworks, and we can do the clash detection or the coordination over there. and it is easily compatible between the two softwares. Okay. Now, requests for information are reduced by working directly with project partners' information. So there can be a lot of requests from your partners who are working along with your project, saying that they need a lot of other information when you provide your drawings or when you provide your model. But working together, it will be more easy for you guys to understand what is the actual requirement and what is information that needs to be provided to your partner or your client. Okay, so that is also one of the features of using Revit here. Design information of all the elements are embedded in the project. For example, this is why Revit is called a BIM software. So let me open the Revit here. So normally in any other software that you've seen, if you click on a component, let's say for example, let's click on the diffuser over here. As we can see, I am getting the details here, like the pressure here, the flow, even the size of it directly from the Revit. If I go inside the properties here, I can see the size here, and even I can see the cost if I have provided it. I have more options or more details to provide here. So based on how much you guys are providing into your project or into your families, you can see the exact output using Revit. Okay. Now we already seen like we can create the detailed drawings in Revit, and most of the people find it very hard to put the annotations in the detailed drawings. For example, let's say you want to put the size of the duct here, or you want to put the size, or you want to put the name of your families or the components that you placed. It takes a lot of time for doing the detailing of your project, while in Revit it takes very less time. Here again, let's easily go for a floor plan. As you can see, this is the floor plan which I have here, and using the tag option here, you can see that I can directly get the bottom of duct from here. If I want, I can also have different other tags. Now what I'm getting is the size tag. So when I go on giving the tags for all the other ducts here, what I'm getting now will be the as you can see now what I'm getting will be the size of each of the duct which I click on. And you can see it's very quick. We don't need to spend a lot of time clicking on each duct and checking the size of it. You can easily provide tags with leader or without leader as you wish, and it will be accurate according to your drawing. And that makes it very quick for Revit to create detailed drawings, right? Now you might think that when I change or when I change the routing of the, let's say, the duct again in one of my floor plan, what happens to the other views? Let's say I created a section here somewhere of that same routing. Let's say I have a 3D view of the same routing. So what happens to all the other views which we have in the Revit software? Normally, if you have done it, you know, in all the other softwares, when you try to change in one part of it, you need to change it for all the other views which you created for that part of your project. But in Revit, when you change, let's see what happens. Okay, so let's talk about this particular view here. So I'm going to create a 3D view of the same. As you can see, this is the 3D view of the one we have. Let me create a tile view so you guys can understand it. As you can see, this is the floor plan I have for this particular routing, and this is a 3D view of it. So if I try to change my routing, or if I try to change the position of a family here, let's say I'm just dragging it and changing the position, you will notice the same change is happening in the other views, not only in the 3D. Even if you have created a section view here, it will update the changes that you made in all the other respective views. So which is a huge advantage to save a lot of time in your project, so that you don't need to make changes in all the other views. If you make changes in one of the views, all the other views will be updated automatically with respect to what you did. Okay. Now we can convert the Revit models into 2D files or even to AutoCAD drawings very easily in one single click. So let's say you have created a sheet already, as we have seen already. Let's say this one, and if you want to convert this into AutoCAD, it's very much quick here. If you go for file, you have the option to export this particular view into different CAD formats here. You can convert to the original file, which is a DWG, or you can also convert to DXF, DGN, or any other file formats which supports in the CAD. You have also option to convert your or export your Revit file into various other formats like IFC or even DWF or FBX files. Okay, so it's a good option that for those who find it very easy to work in CAD, they don't need to worry. Actually, they can actually convert the Revit files into AutoCAD and then do the detailing in that. But I won't recommend that, since you know that uh, it takes very less time when if you want to do detailing in Revit rather than in AutoCAD. Okay. We discussed this already, like we can convert or export the Revit file into various other industry design applications. Let's talk about a software of a different software provider, for example Tekla or Bentley, which has a different file format, right? It won't be having a DWG format or .rbt file format, which is the default format of Revit. It has a different file format of itself. So in case if you want to convert into those file formats, we have the standard file format, which is the IFC, which you already seen, so that you can easily export your Revit file into those softwares. Okay. Again, making it very easy to identify the problems here. It makes it very quick for the design review meetings and all to understand what or where the problems are happening and where we need to change or update the drawings. So this makes even the client more happy that when you see something in 3D, when you see your model in 3D view, or so when you see the model in 3D, it makes anyone understand how your model is, right? Rather than in 2D. So anyone who sees the model understands where the location of the duct is going on, or where the position of the diffuser is placed on. So all the details will be directly uh, available in the 3D view. As you can see from the 3D view, you can easily understand what is happening in your project and where we need to update or make the changes in the project here. Okay. Now, when we talk about BIM is basically a concept which is entirely depending on the coordination of the project. And when we say coordination, most people find it really hard when some changes happens in the architecture and they need to redo their work again and again. I've seen a lot of cases where some people who have already done the design had to change the whole design just because that something in the architecture got changed. So this is a very big issue which affects the time and even the cost of the project. So to avoid that, Revit provide you with the work sharing option, which enables you to work together in a single network system, or even using the cloud system of Autodesk, which is the BIM 360, which enables you to work together in a coordinated way in the same file, so that whatever changes happens in the architecture or any other uh, discipline, you will be able to see the changes right away. So that is what we have here. The multiple people can work and coordinate on the same project at the same time using the work sharing option, which is in the Revit software. And what more? We told about the fabrication option in Revit. So what is fabrication? Most of you people who doesn't know about fabrication, you must have seen the ducts or the pipes which we create in Revit. Looks not exactly what you see in the site. As you can see, this is the duct routing here, for example, and you can see it's just like a single duct here, which doesn't happen normally in the site. In the site, you see the ducts in different parts or in a specific length, right? So if you want to create fabricated drawings so that you can provide that drawings for the fabrication later on, we can do that directly from Revit in the new versions. For example, let's say I want to convert this part here into fabrication. So what I'm going to do here is, using the fabrication part option, I can load a service into the Revit. Let's say in this case I want to load a duct content here. So I'm going to load the duct work here. As you can see, now I have loaded different parts here of the ductwork. And now when I select, or when I select a area or a part of the duct here, I have the option to easily convert those elements into fabrication part just by a single click here. So let's click on this option, select the fabrication part which you want to convert to, and when I click OK, you will find that let's optimize the length as well. So when I select it now, you will find that now this ductwork has been converted into fabrication part in Revit directly. In the lower versions, if you have worked on it, you will find that you have to use another software called Fabrication MEP or CAD Fabrication MEP. But now it is actually inbuilt in Revit in the new versions, so that you don't need to use the CAD MEP separately. You can directly convert your models into fabrication parts directly inside the Revit, which is a huge advantage uh, from the lower version to the newer versions. Okay. So these are the main features of using the Revit. As you've seen, it's all packed with a lot of features which you can work on the project. It saves a lot of time. It saves a lot of if you save the time, automatically it saves a lot of cost in your project. And it provides you with detailed information about the project, so that you don't need to redo your work. And even if you have to redo your work, it is very quick if you make the changes in Revit, as we have already seen. Let me show you one application of Revit here, which is one of the softwares we have worked on here in Dubai. So let me open up that for you. So I'm not going to show you the complete project here, since it's a SQ1. Here, as you can see, this is a pump room layout of a particular building, and this is actually the floor plan of it, or what you call it as a 2D view of it. It's not actually a 2D view, but this is like the top view of it, the floor plan. You can see that we already provided more than enough details here. As you can see, we have provided all the annotations, the text, even the tags uh, along with it. We already seen how to provide the tags and all, which is very quick here. It didn't take much time for me to do all this, while in AutoCAD I'd find it very hard to provide all the details like this. And what's more, when I submitted, the clients were asking me to provide more details with it, but it didn't take much time for me. For example, let's say they did tell me to provide sections over here, so I did provide a section, which takes a lot of time if you're doing in CAD. Okay, but here in Revit, if I create a section, if I open it, you'll find that directly it opens up the section for you, and in that section you can start providing the details here. The details don't come along with it, I have given it separately, but the sections will be generated automatically based on where you create the sections. So creating the sections, creating all the views are also easy in Revit. And as you can see, I've actually converted those files into the sheets here. As you can see, these are the sheets here, and I've also converted those into CAD formats directly from Revit, which helped a lot in the project. For those who doesn't know Revit, for those who want to make changes in this particular view, we can actually export the files or sheets into the CAD files, and then we can convert, or they can start working on the CAD files from which the CAD file which we provided from the Revit. So the industrial application or the applications of Revit is unlimited. It doesn't just mean that we can only create the drawings here. We can also use it even from the starting stage of the project till the handing over stage, which means you can start before the designing stage or construction stage, and even till the operation stage you can apply Revit. Uh, this is already a ongoing project. I think it's near to the completion now, and those who worked on the software, they already recommended to change from the AutoCAD to Revit. Okay, so it's a huge advantage of using Revit from the other softwares which I've worked on till now. Okay, so let me conclude the session for you for today. Let me tell you that those who have worked on different softwares, uh, and those who haven't worked on Revit before, uh, if you are still not convinced of using Revit MEP for your project, consider this. Okay, from my experience of delivering Revit MEP courses, one thing I can assure you that I have never heard anyone or any delegate saying at the end of the course that they would rather carry on drawing in the 2D. They will be using Revit for sure. So with this, I hope all of you start using Revit for your projects. And let me conclude the session. Hope it was a informative session for you guys. We'll be seeing, or we'll be creating or more live sessions in the coming days, and hope you will be there to join with us in all the sessions. Thank you guys. Thanks a lot.